said that, how can Chinese influence the world? Change yourself and influence the world. I think for Pakistan, change yourself and influence the region and influence the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu, for very insightful points that you have raised. So now let's move to the next panelist, Dr. Wong Chida. Dr. Wong, as a director of the Institute for South Asian Studies at the China Institute of Contemporary International Relations, how can CPEC and BRI promote cultural and people-to-people exchanges between China and the countries involved, fostering a sense of mutual understanding and shared values to contribute to the harmonious civilizations?
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Javed. Thanks, Mr. Clark. And it's quite an honor to be here again after 3 years. And
you could put the mic.
Okay.
Thanks
so much for your very enlightening ideas, because the harmonious civilization, I think, is the cool idea element that is shared by both Pakistan and China, which is I'm brother since independence. My answer to you, Dr. Javed, I think is quite clear. How should CPEC as well as BRI contribute to people-to-people exchanges as well as the harmonious civilization? 2 ways, in my humble opinion. First way is that the BRI and CPEC should build itself a successful story. That is a precondition, a very important precondition. The second way that might be CPEC and BRI should bring tangible and forcible interest to the local people. Let me take a few minutes to elaborate these 2 ideas. The first way that is BRI and CPEC should make itself a successful story. In my opinion, I think up till now, the bottleneck problem that has long restricted Pakistan's economic and social development has been basically solved. I think we all know that around 10 years ago, both Pakistan government and China government agreed that we should make a breakthrough in the construction of the transportation and energy infrastructure to help Pakistan ease the bottlenecks that restrict the economic development and lay a solid foundation for Pakistan's economic development. I think that's exactly why in the phase 1 construction of the CPEC, energy project as a focus, number 1 focus. We all know that among the 22 priority projects for the phase 1 construction of CPEC, there are 11 energy projects. And I think after 10 years of construction, according to some statistics, the energy project under the framework of CPEC already supply around 1/3 of the total electricity supply of Pakistan. I think that is really a concrete progress. Also, the transportation infrastructure building also make very concrete progress, like the Karakoram Highway, which is really the lifeline that link China and Pakistan. That is phase 1 construction. And in the phase 2 construction of CPEC, I think both Pakistan government and Chinese government commonly agree that I think we should make continuous progress in the phase 1 period, like the energy plant, like the infrastructure building, but more attention should be paid to other fields like industrial cooperation, like agriculture, like people-to-people exchange. I think in this kind of framework, I'm quite sure that CPEC itself will be a successful story. That is the first way, or first method. The second method, I think, is even more important, although it is the second way. That is BRI and CPEC should bring more tangible, forcible interest to the local people. We all know that Pakistan nowadays have more than 200 million people, and the young people, the ratio of the total population is very high. Under this kind of circumstance, I think if a BRI and CPEC can create enough job opportunities, that is the biggest contribution to the people's livelihood. A lot of statistics have shown that during the past 10 years of construction, a lot of job opportunities is provided. I think that is very important. Equally important is that in the phase 2 construction of the CPEC, I think there are more and more obviously designed people's livelihood project. There will be more schools, irrigation project, even hospitals. I think through this kind of ways, we can make CPEC a project that really benefits the local people. So my answer is quite simple. That is, first, CPEC made itself a successful story. Second, CPEC should pay more attention to local people's interest. Besides these two methods, maybe there are other ways. For example, a delegation like us, that itself a very important element of the people-to-people exchanges. Other examples like more Urdu-speaking training in China, and more Chinese-speaking training programs in Pakistan. This kind of project can be designed more detailed with more big thinking. I think through this kind of method, with the help of Pakistan side, China and Pakistan can work hand in hand to make project of CPEC not only the so-called one of the most important project, the flagship project of BNR, and also a project that can really facilitate the so-called harmonious civilization. First, between China and Pakistan, and then I think around the world. Thanks. That's my humble observation.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. So the next panelist, Dr. Li Yingfeng, as the Director of the Regional and Strategic Research Office of Sichuan Academy of Social Sciences. What would you like to propose or suggest that what role do CPEC and BRI play in enhancing the regional economic integration, and how can China and the partner countries work together to maximize the potential benefits and address economic disparities in the region?
Okay, thanks Chairman and thanks Minister and ladies and gentlemen. And the first, about your first question, I think I want to share 2 points. First and foremost, I think BRI or CPEC provides a new rule or new principles to the regional countries to join economic integration. The principle was China's initiative in the regional cooperation insists on discuss together and joint contribution and also share the benefits. No matter the country is big or small, and China also insists on these principles. For CPEC or BRI, China will fully communicate with the host governments and only carry out the projects with the consent of the host governments. Moreover, China has never interfered in other countries' internal affairs during cooperation. And like China never asked any country to do this or to do that when they get a loan from China. It's not only Pakistan and also BRI, other countries. China also did like this. And China wants regional countries to cooperate together, develop together, and become better together. This is also one of the concerns, focus of China's harmonious civilizations. The second point I wanted to talk about was the fundamental infrastructure facilities. I think it's also very important for China to provide through CPEC or through BRI to provide for the regional economic integration. Yesterday we talked about a lot about this, so today I won't spend much time on today. About your second questions, I think we should insist on respecting each other, and building infrastructure is also important. In addition, I think I want to share 5 points about this. Firstly, I think we should insist opening, because regional economic integration is not a closed integration. We and countries outside of the region, capital, and the resources also should be welcomed to participate in the regional integration, economic integration. Secondly, I think we should easy access to information. Public information platform should be established, and to avoid imbalances in the participants of regional countries due to regional information imbalances. The third was abounding geopolitical thinking and zero-sum game thinking, advocate common develop and one-to-one methodologies. The fourth was skilled workers, because regional economic integration, it means the marketing is open and the marketing is bigger. So we should need more and more skilled workers. And last, I think security. Security is important for the regional economic integration, because no one wants to invest in a region with no peace, except some special businesses. So if a region is peaceful, so it will attract more FDIs in this region. So this is my opinions. Thanks for your attention.
So, thank you, Dr. Lee, for highlighting these important aspects, which are very important in context of economic integration. So the next panelist is Dr. Sinkyong Ki, as the director of the CPEC Research Center at China University of Geosciences. What environmental safeguards and sustainability measures should be implemented within CPEC and BRI projects to ensure long-term ecological balance and contribute to the concept of harmonious civilization that respects nature and minimizes the environmental impacts? Yes, as you like. Yes, please. Mike.
Okay. At first, thanks to dear Professor Iqbal and the dear Chair. I'm very honorable to have a speech here about this question. Harmonious culture is a cultural system based on the connotation of harmony, which is the most advanced ideological culture in the world today. Only under the guidance of harmonious culture can we create harmonious politics and harmonious economy. And only this cultivated with harmonious culture can consciously create a harmonious society and harmonious world. Based on this, we should pay high attention about environment safeguard and sustainable development. It is in regard to harmony between man and nature, also between man and ecology environment. It also meets the need of the social and economic development. So, at first, the existing physical, biological, and socio-economic environment of the area of influence of the project and predicts the type and scale of possible environmental impacts and of occupational health and safety issue, owing to implementation and operation of the project among CPEC and BRA. Based on this, the prediction of the impacts as well as the required mitigation measures to avoid, minimize or compensate such impacts should be designed, and its implementation plan should be prepared. The second, make a plan of environmental impact assessment to evaluate environmental risks and impacts. The third, I think that we should support environmental and natural resources management operations. The first, we should promote corporate environmental responsibility, such as improving efficiency in energy and water use, improving practices for reducing, reusing, and recycling waste and materials, minimizing the consumption and emissions of hazardous substances, and providing healthy and safe working conditions. The last, the potential impacts of climate change and disaster risk reduction must be considered as part of environment of social impact assessments and the management plan. Especially along the area of CPEC, we should take measures as follows. This is my suggestion. At first, we try to utilize the technology of clean coal. Then we should preferably build more clean energy projects, such as a large-scale application of clean energy includes solar energy, wind energy, nuclear energy, hydropower, photovoltaic power, like in China. These years we have built more projects of clean energy construction. The last, we should take programs of massive plantations to improve the environment safeguard. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So now, I would like to request the Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Ahsan Iqbal, for his keynote address on the same topic, that's the CPEC, BRI, and harmonious civilizations. Wherever you prefer, sir, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on the International Conference on Decade of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Belt and Road Initiative, it is with great pride and satisfaction that we reflect on the enriching discussions and insights shared during these 2 days. This conference has served as a remarkable platform for fostering understanding, cooperation, and collective vision for the future. Over the last decade, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has emerged as a testament of partnership and has the potential for transformative development. Together, China and Pakistan have embarked on a journey of shared dreams, working hand in hand to build high-quality development projects. Throughout this conference, we have witnessed a multitude of success stories, tales of growth and accounts of how CPEC has positively impacted the lives of countless individuals. From infrastructure development to energy projects, from improved connectivity to enhanced trade opportunities, the CPEC's significance cannot be overstated. The decade of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has been a journey of learning and adaptation marked by challenges and achievements alike. It has taught us the importance of flexibility and ability to address concerns proactively. Through these experiences, we have gained valuable insights into the art of forging resilient partnerships that stand the test of time. I remember when we started China-Pakistan Economic Corridor in July 2013, the first MOU was signed. So during our discussion, we set some guiding principles, and two of those guiding principles was that one, it will be based on scientific planning. It will not be based on personal whims, likes or dislikes. Whatever we will do under CPEC will be based on scientific planning. And second was that it will follow the principle of taking the easy path first. So we will not dwell into complications, complexities, and lose the momentum. So we take the easy path first so that we can step by step move forward. And I think there is great wisdom in this approach on the basis of Chinese development experience, like founder of the modern China, Mr. Deng Xiaoping said that when you cross the river, you test the pebble and one by one, stepping on the pebbles, you cross the river. So similarly, it was agreed, it was an understanding that we'll do scientific planning and we'll take the easy path first so that we move forward, we can show progress, and I think we have done a great job on that. While celebrating the successes, we also acknowledge that there is still much work to be done. As we step into the future, it is crucial that we continue to work collaboratively, transcending borders and fostering an atmosphere of trust. Pakistan, with its unique geographical location and rich cultural heritage, stands as a bridge between civilizations. We firmly believe that through CPEC and Belt and Road Initiative, we can promote cultural exchanges, educational collaboration, and tourism between our nations, deepening mutual understanding and appreciation. And while China has initiated Belt and Road Initiative, of which China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a flagship project, we also welcome and support President Xi's vision for Global Development Initiative and the Civilizational Initiative to bring and support collaboration between civilizations. Today we stand at a point in history which is seeing unprecedented amount of uncertainty and unprecedented amount of complexity. So when you are dealing with uncertainty and complexity, the way forward is not conflict, the way forward is not confrontation, the way forward is collaboration. And collaboration is something which runs at the heart of the scheme of things that we call is the master creation universe in which we all live. If you look at universe comprises of several diverse systems. There are several systems operating with pushes and pulls within universe. Galaxies, there are stars, there are, black holes, all sorts of pulls and pushes exist in the universe. But how is the universe in order? Universe is in order because there is harmony between all the systems that exist within universe. And if you remove harmony, all the planets, all the galaxies will collide with each other and universe will be destroyed. So this is the essence of life. If you look at human life, there is even harmony within human life. From a single cell to multiple organs, everything lives within harmony and within their own sphere. And if this harmony is lost and there is an unchecked growth, then you see emergence of cancer in human body, which is actually breach of the harmony inside the human body, and that becomes fatal. So for any system to work successfully, it is important that its components work in harmony and collaboration, otherwise that system gets destroyed. Similarly, as we meet and face global challenges which are not confined to one country, which are not confined to one continent, but they relate to the whole world, they have global implications. How can we face those challenges if we are not cooperating and collaborating? Pakistan is a victim of climate change. We are the 7th most vulnerable country under climate change. But this vulnerability is not an outcome of our emissions, global emissions. Our global emissions are less than 1%. It is the emissions of the developed world. But we are on the receiving end. Now, to mitigate the effects of climate change, no single country can fix this problem. It requires a joint action. Now, joint action will only take place if all the countries are collaborating, they are working together. Similarly, we have seen during COVID, now that was any pandemic, no country can face it single-handedly. It requires global action, global cooperation. We have seen terrorism. Terrorism became a global phenomenon. Now, no country could face it single-handedly. It required partnerships, cooperation at global level. So today, more than ever, with ever-growing uncertainty and ever-growing complexity, there is a need that all countries cooperate, collaborate, and minimize confrontation. Otherwise, if we go on the path of confrontation, that will be a sure destruction for everyone. We have seen recently what is the cost of conflict. War in Ukraine has disrupted the economies all over the world. Every country, whether in Africa or in Asia or in Latin America, has faced the consequences of war in Ukraine through supply shocks of one type or another. So therefore, never there has been so much need for harmony and collaboration between civilizations. So I think the initiatives for global civilization, the Global Civilization Initiative, the Global Development Initiative, Belt and Road initiatives are the right steps in the direction of fostering and promoting cooperation and collaboration between countries, between regions, between cultures, between civilizations. This conference has brought us together, providing a platform for meaningful discussions and fostering partnerships for the future. It has brought together scholars, experts, policymakers, and visionaries from diverse backgrounds, allowing us to explore the multifaceted dimensions of China-Pakistan economic corridor comprehensively. I would like to compliment all the presenters of papers who were selected through a very rigorous process, and all those presenters who have presented the papers here have made a very useful contribution towards promoting understanding of CPEC, its implications, and its way forward. Let us build upon the momentum generated here and continue to engage in academic collaboration, people-to-people exchanges, and joint research initiatives. As we move forward, we acknowledge it. We acknowledge that challenges will arise, but it is through challenges that opportunities for growth emerge. We will continue to work closely with our partner, China, to address challenges and leverage opportunities for the collective benefit of our nations and the region. I said this last night also, that we acknowledge greatly the support China has provided to Pakistan at a time when Pakistan was in real need. And China truly proved that a friend in need is friend indeed. When no one was willing to invest in Pakistan, in April 2015, when President Xi visited Pakistan, we signed $46 billion worth of MOUs for investment in Pakistan. And the next day, this one news story on the front page of Wall Street Journal, that China signs billions of dollars of investment MOUs in Pakistan, changed the profile of Pakistan. The world started to look at Pakistan as an investment destination, which earlier it was looking at as some kind of a security region where it was not safe to go. So I think CPEC touched Pakistan in so many ways. Most importantly, it brought Pakistan to the investment landscape of the world, and then it helped Pakistan overcome energy crisis, build modern infrastructure, bring new technology, and promote socio-economic cooperation. As Minister of Planning and Development and Special Initiatives, which is a lead ministry on CPEC initiative from Pakistani side, I reiterate our unwavering commitment to leveraging the full potential of CPEC while ensuring the well-being of our people. I must say that between 2013 and 18, we proved all the critics wrong. When we signed MOUs on CPEC, the normal skeptics, the Bukrats and Socrates who sit on the television and always spread the news of despondency, they were skeptical that how would we harness this big opportunity. Maybe our governance, maybe our public sector is not equipped to make pace with the Chinese development and speed of China. But Saiwal coal project proved that we were able to complete this project even faster than these projects were done in China. And that is when that project became symbol of Punjab speed under Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif, which was quoted by the Chinese that you have even broken our record. So we showed and demonstrated that Pakistan has great ability to perform, to deliver. Unfortunately, after 2018, the political change did not keep that momentum. As a result, we lost a great opportunity in the second phase of the CPEC infrastructure development, which was supposed to focus on industrial cooperation. We were supposed to ready 9 special economic zones by 2020. Unfortunately, those could not be done, and that really brought a big loss of opportunity for Pakistan, because my own estimate in 2017-18 was that in next 5 years we could see up to $30 to $50 billion of Chinese private sector investment in SEZs in Pakistan. A momentum had been built, and all over there were Chinese enterprises in Pakistan. But later on, the new government which came, it unfortunately scandalized CPEC. It made unnecessary controversies that distorted or that destroyed the sentiment, and we lost that great opportunity. But now again, in last 14 months, we have worked day and night to restore and revive the momentum which we left in 2018. And I can, give you some examples that in Gwadar port, in just 1 year, this port has handled more than 600,000 metric tons of cargo compared to 100,000 metric tons of cargo in preceding 4 years. So what it achieved in 4 years, in 1 year we have achieved more than 6 times. So Gwadar port is getting back into action. We have completed the transmission line from Iran border to Gwadar to bring 100 megawatt electricity in just 10 months, which should have been completed in 2019. Now, if it is done in 10 months, why was it not done in 4 years? We have completed in almost 1 year the transmission line from Panjgur to Turbat that will connect Gwadar with the national grid. Now, if this transmission line could be done in 1 year now, why was it not done earlier? So unfortunately, that slowdown or slackness hurt us in many ways, but now, as I said, in last 1 year, we have completed many of the unfinished projects. We have tried to support Chinese enterprises in every way we can, and I'm happy to say that after 2018, first major Chinese investment has come to Pakistan, $3.5 billion investment in Chashma Nuclear Power Plant 5, which will produce 1,200 megawatts of energy for Pakistan. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I would say that under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, we are not just supposed to discuss the projects. I would say that we would be failing if we also do not learn lessons from Chinese development. There are a few lessons which are very important. For example, one important lesson for us is that why were we sleeping when China was becoming an Asian miracle or a miracle for the world? Do you know, in 1980, per capita income of China was $200 and per capita income of Pakistan was $300. And today, China's per capita income is close to, I think, $13,000 plus dollars, and ours is $1,600. Now, when China was growing exponentially, if we had only tagged ourselves with that growth, the sheer size and momentum of Chinese economy would have taken us on a takeoff path. But we ignored the economic dimension of cooperation until CPEC was started. And CPEC made Pakistan China's major economic partner, and China became #1 foreign direct investor in Pakistan. China imports $2,700 billion, $2.7 trillion worth of goods and goods from all over the world. $2.7 trillion. What is the share of Pakistan's exports in $2.7 trillion? Only $3 billion. It used to be just $1 billion. Recently, it has gone to $3 billion. Now, that is criminal. That we have our greatest friend, which is all open to embrace us, and we ignored this huge market which was exporting everything from everywhere from the world, and we just ignored it. So I think we also need to learn one lesson, that this is an age of economic ideologies. Today, even politics depends on economics. Unless we focus on economic realities, we will not be able to sustain even our political relationship. So therefore, economics take precedence in 21st century. In 20th century, we had political groupings, CETO, CENTO, all sorts of non-aligned movement and communist bloc and capitalist bloc. What are the blocs? What are the blocs in 21st century? G7, G20, and G77. And what is the ideology to get membership of G7? What is your per capita income? Who gets into G20? You get into G20 regardless of what your political system is. They only look at your per capita income. So that is where we need to follow. And this is the lesson that one statesman in 20th century learned very early. And his name was Mr. Deng Xiaoping. He told his people it does not matter whether the cat is white or black as long as it catches the mice. He said, focus on economic prosperity of your people and work on economic strength of the country. So that is where I think we have to learn lesson from China. If we have to really take benefit, we have to have economic orientation. And we have to see that how can we broaden economic partnership in this relationship. Number two, how China grew or China developed is because of political stability, peace, and continuity in policies. This is what one gentleman was narrating in the context of Bangladesh. And I keep saying this, that in last 150 years, or even before, if you look at any country that has developed, particularly in last 50 years, in the 20th century when we had emergence of East Asia, no country has developed which has not ensured at least a decade of continuity of policies. 10 years, it takes 10 years for policy to deliver. If you keep playing T20 cricket in your politics, no matter how wise people you have, no matter all your cabinet ministers are waliullahs, no matter all your cabinet ministers are Nobel laureates, but if you keep political instability, you will go bad to worst. You may have mediocre cabinet members, you may have mediocre advisors, but if you ensure political stability and continuity of policies, you will get the fruits of development or prosperity. So Bangladesh, he was referring, Bangladesh has ensured 15 years of continuity of policies through Hasina Wajid's 3 governments. In India, each BJP and Congress government completed 2 consecutive tenures, 10-year stretch. Malaysia, Dr. Mahathir, 22 years. In Turkey, Erdogan, 20 years now, continuity of policies. In Japan, one party has ruled for more than 90% of their history. In China, if you see from 1949, there is one party and every president has served not less than 10 years. Continuity of policies. In Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, 31 years of continuity of policies. So I'm not saying that, we must have very long governments, but minimum, if a government is performing, it should not be disrupted. I can say with all my experience and knowledge that what government performed during 2013 and 18 is unprecedented in the history of Pakistan. But what happened? Had that government been allowed to continue its policies for another 5 years, we would have become beneficiaries of decade of continuity. That process was disrupted. And today we are suffering from what we are. So we must as a nation learn that stability, peace and continuity have to be the cornerstones of our ecosystem for development. If we cannot ensure them, no matter what policies you make, no matter what government you install, no matter you have all the waliullahs of the world come in your government, nothing will happen. Second, development is not just about hardware. It is also about society's social culture and values. Why China is China today, you have to understand the values they have in their society. I would say that, if you go to China, you meet their young people, one thing you find that everyone is very ambitious. They have a dream in life. They want to do something. So, there has to be a value, or there has to be this ambition in the society, in the youth, that no, we want to do something. You have to be a hard worker. Go in China and see how much hard they work. So, a nation which does not work harder cannot achieve the fruits of development. So, hard work has to be a virtue, has to be a value within the society. Without hard work, there is no success. 3, Chinese people are also very thrifty. You will see their CEOs of the big corporations, you will see their big leaders, they are dressed in very ordinary suits. They are not very fond of wearing branded suits and branded glasses and branded shoes. They save their money to spend where it is productively spent. They don't throw away money no matter how much wealth they may have. So thrift, being thrifty, is a culture in Chinese society. So, we see all the time affluence, how much money we throw on our weddings and what kind of, extravaganza we do in our society. That's not the value of a progressive society. If we have to be a progressive society, we have to save more. If you are not saving, you cannot develop, because then you have to borrow for your development. Your investments will only happen through your own resources if you become a saving nation. Then they are a very caring society. We too are a caring society. We have that value, but in China, they also care. And finally, relentless pursuit of education and success. In China, how you see young men are, I was recently in China and I was really happy to see that if you go to Tsinghua University, there are students coming from the schools to just have a look at that university, so that teachers bring them to that university, so that this university becomes an inspiration for them. That we have to study hard, we have to be competitive, and I have to get into this university. So this relentless pursuit of higher standards of education is a value which is shared all over in the society. And we also have to put education on top as a society in order to qualify to enter the race of development. Now, these are the values we also need to learn from other societies that have grown successfully, that have been successful in development. Just by making bridges, by making roads, and by making big buildings, you don't develop. Unless this hardware is also matched by the right software of values and ethics that have to be demonstrated, and demonstrated equally strongly, then society has a more strong basis and foundation to grow. So I think, these are all lessons that our people will learn through joint research. Our scholars should go and study Chinese society and see how China has, grown, how they have improved their urban centers, how they have improved their rural societies, how they have been able to create job opportunities, how are they training their youth, how are they promoting and developing tech entrepreneurship in China. So all these lessons have many, all these stories have many lessons for us to learn. So we must, through such joint pursuits, I think, have this transfer of know-how. So I extend my heartiest gratitude to each one of you for your active participation and enthusiastic engagement. Your valuable contributions have made this conference an enriching and enlightening experience for all of us. I would particularly like to thank our Chinese visitors who have come all the way. We are very grateful, we are very honored with your presence, and you've really added great value to this conference. I would also like to express our deep appreciation to the organizing committee led by Dr. Nadeem Javed and all those who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event a resounding success. And as we conclude this conference, let us carry the lessons learned, the connections made, and the spirit of collaboration with us as we embark on the journey ahead. Together we can shape a future that is brighter, more inclusive, and built on the principles of shared prosperity and mutual respect. Thank you all once again, and may the bond between China and Pakistan grow ever stronger in the years to come. Safe travels to our Chinese guests, and let us continue to work hard in hand for a better and more cohesive development of CPEC projects. Best wishes to you all. Pakistan-China friendship, Zindabad. Long live Pakistan-China friendship.
I think you were supposed to leave for a joint parliamentary session, but if you allow, we can have a few questions from the audience as well. Yes. Yes, please. No, there are a lot of people are raising hand, but if somebody could make it possible to provide the mic there.
On the long-term plan under your directions, our focus towards special economic zones was bringing in Chinese investment and perhaps on the Pakistan side doing joint ventures with them. I think in somewhere in between we lost the way. The Chinese, because of COVID and other reason, did not come, and also eventually a lot of Pakistanis actually invested, which was against the original spirit of the special economic zone. So how from now to perhaps in next 1 year or 2 years we can attract Chinese and bring it back to the spirit of the long-term plan which Dr. Nadeem articulated?
I think this is the real opportunity of CPEC, Industrial Cooperation. From China, in 2018 we found out that more than 80 million jobs are being relocated because in China labor cost has increased. So most of the labor-intensive companies or industries are relocating to other countries where cost of labor is cheaper. So that way Pakistan was very ideally located. It had the corridor and it had also low cost of human resource, and we had modern infrastructure. We were a prime destination for relocation. But as you said, after 2018, that path had not been continued, or momentum was not retained. So, but now again, we have fast-tracked completion of the special economic zones, Dabeji, Rashakai and other Punjab. So we intend that after the new government comes in, I think that will be a good time if our companies and these special economic zones can go to China, do road shows, because constantly many companies from China relocating for whom labor cost is becoming unbearable or uncompetitive. So there is still a very big market out there. And then also we discussed in our last visit with Chinese leadership the opportunity of export to third countries through joint production in Pakistan. So that again I think is a great opportunity that we can set up industries jointly which will export to third countries, and that also takes into account some of the global geopolitics. It can bypass that. So I am very hopeful that after we have a new government, if it really pursues relentlessly this path of industrial cooperation, there are great opportunities for Pakistan to benefit from Chinese relocations, which are happening anyway. Yeah. If we will not take benefit, they will go to Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, other countries where labor cost is cheaper.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम अफान कुरैशी है, ताल्लुक़ मेरा एसोसिएशन ऑफ बिल्डर्स एंड डेवलपर्स है, आपसे मुलाकात रही है। तो सवाल मेरा आपसे वही है कि जैसे कि अभी सूबे ने गवादर जो है वो सीपैक स्टार्ट ही गवादर से होता है। बहरहाल इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि कंटिन्यूसली गवादर के बारे में बात की गई और बड़ी पॉजिटिव डिस्कशन रही। मैं सिर्फ आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा कि जैसे सूबे ने गवादर को स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक डिस्ट्रिक्ट का दर्जा दे दिया है, तो क्या फेडरल भी जो है वो इस पे विलिंग है कि इसको जो है वो स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक डिस्ट्रिक्ट किया जाए? क्योंकि एक बहुत बड़ा इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर जो है वो रेडी है मूव करने के लिए, अपने यूनिट्स लगाने के लिए, और जैसे वहाँ पे रोज़गार के इशूज़ हैं वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिजॉल्व हो जाते हैं। तो ज़रा इस पर थोड़ी सी मुझे ब्रीफ बताइएगा। थैंक यू सर।
2-3 क्वेश्चंस ले लें सर राउंड, एंड देन यू कैन जी somebody
दो और ले लें बस,
at least two more questions, the one from there and yes please one from here.
एक खातून से ले लेंगे वो सामने।
अच्छा उधर।
Sir, my question is from the first speaker. He mentioned that Pakistan and China enhanced military cooperation.
बाद में कर लीजिएगा, मुझसे कर लें, मैंने जाना है वो जॉइंट सेशन हो रहा है पार्लियामेंट का, तो अगर मेरे से कुछ सवाल है तो कर लें। जी वो खातून, जी बोलिए। जी बोलिए।
I will request that be brief in your question rather than to give a long comment.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Saima Shabbir. I'm from Arab News. Sir, my question is that Saudi Arabia and UAE were very much interested in CPEC projects, and they have probably announced a few. They showed interest and to invest in CPEC projects. Sir, what is the current status of that announcement, and how would it proceed further? Any development which you can share with us? Thank you.
The basic purpose of CPEC was not seen just as a bilateral project. It was seen as a project that will connect the regions. And similarly, and that's why when President Xi addressed the National Parliament in Pakistan National Assembly, he referred to CPEC in the context of South Asia and the regions. So we hope that this connectivity routes that we are setting up, these routes will help us integrate South Asia, Central Asia, Middle East, China, and even beyond to Africa. So we very much, look forward to a more active engagement with GCC countries with whom we have very strong cordial relations. But now, as you know, that we have also formed SIFC for GCC countries' investment into Pakistan. I think SIFC and CPEC are two twin, you may call brothers or sisters, who will complement each other and bring opportunities to Pakistan.
Hello.
Yes, please. The last question, please. Yeah.
So much. I really appreciate your speech. Sorry. My question is, we have noticed that there are a lot of economic revival planning of the government recently, especially on the agriculture. So do you see any opportunities or any other plans where we can boost our bilateral agricultural operations?
There are, great opportunities in agriculture. We have recently identified 4 priority sectors: agriculture, IT, mining, and energy. And in agriculture, if you look at Pakistan's produce, every produce puts us in the top 10 producers of the world. But if you look at the yield, our productivity is the lowest in the world. So if we can only increase our productivity by 30 to 40%, we could be the top 3 in the top 3 producers of the world in every area. So the opportunity is, we would like to benefit from the technology that China has in seed development, in modern agriculture research. We have now started an initiative we call Green Revolution 2.0. And the basic purpose of this Green Revolution 2.0 is to integrate modern technology in agriculture sector to enhance our agriculture productivity and production. Now with China, there is so much we can achieve through cooperation in agriculture. For example, one Chinese company said that we can import annually $1 billion worth of beef meat into China from Pakistan. But now if they said we start importing $1 billion meat from Pakistan, it's going to create a big distortion in your own market, because then the beef will disappear from local market and the prices will go very high, and people will start crying that China has taken away all our meat. So while you export beef, you also have to increase your livestock in the country. So simultaneously, while we invest in export of meat, we also have to set up farms for livestock breeding, so that there are more animals and there is more meat, and if we export, there is no shortage in the domestic market. Similarly, in fruits and vegetables and many other agricultural products, China has always said that whatever surplus you can produce, we will be very happy to import. So the point is that we have to now focus to increase our production, increase our productivity, so that we have surplus to export. And if we can do that, that will be great opportunity. Similarly, mechanization of agriculture. Similarly, in irrigation, drip irrigation, water conservation, efficient means of using water resources. So these are areas where China has great advantage and also great resources with its enterprises. Now, in agriculture processing industry is again a great area of investment from China, where leading companies who are strong in agro-based industries can come to Pakistan and invest in Pakistan. So agriculture, I think, is a very big opportunity area. And Gwadar, we are examining the proposal to create Gwadar district a duty-free zone. With these words, I'll beg leave because I have to attend the joint session of the Parliament, which is continuing. So thank you very much. It was really lovely to see you all and see that this conference has benefited from our Chinese friends and from Pakistani presenters. Thank you very much.
आपने ना मैं जब गेस्ट को शीट दूंगा ना वो जब वापस करेगा आपने वो ले लेगा
Excuse me, please wait for distribution ceremony. We have sheet distribution ceremony after this. The audience.
If there are further questions from our Chinese panelists, yes, please. Mike. उन्होंने अंदर ही मीडिया वालों ने बाहर करवा देना था. Yes, please. Mike then. मैंने कहा है अनाउंस किया ना.
Hello, hello.
आप तो माइक पहुंचाओ ना, जो काम हमारा करने का है वो.
हेलो. अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Sir, I am Zohaib from Kajal University, student of Defense Institute. If I may can
Hello.
ask
Hello.
a question. Yes, sir. Sir, I am Zohaib from Kajal University, student of Defense Institute Studies. Sir, my
military cooperation. Our military best tank is Chinese. Our two best Air Force jets are Chinese. We have submarines and frigates from Chinese, for our Navy from China. What exactly do you have in mind when you say more enhanced military cooperation?
Thank you very much for your question. What I mean is that I think China and Pakistan should do some preparation if afraid that India would like to wage some attacks or wage some wars with Pakistan, because India dare not to wage wars or wage attacks against China, but I think they have such maybe ambitions to realize the stability of their environment. They think the turbulence was caused by Pakistan, so I think they would like to wage some sudden attacks against Pakistan, especially before the general election in next year.
I am Zohaib from Kazan University, student of Defense and Strategic Study. Sir, my question is, US-led coalitions like Quadrilateral Alliance and others in shape of US building up military muscles and economic muscles of our adversary state like India. It's a clear threat for Pakistan's security and regional peace and stability. How China look towards it, and what is the step of China to counter this anti-China policies and containment of China policies? And obviously it will be a clear threat for Pakistan national security. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, and excuse me, Chairman. Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
Yes, I want to say something
okay,
about
please.
the first questions. You know that and China-Pakistan's military cooperation started 1960s. It means that all two countries' military cooperation is not just from CPEC 1930. It has long history. We should to see all two countries' cooperation in these areas from history. This is point one. Point two, China-Pakistan's military cooperation is not aimed at the southern countries. It's only help Pakistan's stability. It's help Pakistan's survival. I think this is the most important for China and Pakistan. Thank you.
Okay. So, I mean, let's proceed to conclude this session as we were supposed to finish it by 4. So, I mean, keeping view this discussion, the key taglines which I was able to, collect and would like to share or highlight at the end of the session is that geography can play important role, but geography is not a decisive factor. So the most important thing is your choice. Now the choice for what? So these are, 5 dimensions which Dr. Liu highlighted. There's the choice between different economic policy options, is the kind of comparative advantage of your industry on which you are going to emphasize and going to take the leverage further. Then is about your political stability, and it's about your planning. And then complementing this very important highlight with the highlight that was given by Honorable Minister, that while you are pursuing your choices, then the easy path first should be the best way to realize or achieve your objectives or goals. But at the end, I would also like to highlight the kind of discussions I had on the sidelines with multiple paper presenters and the researchers. So I realized that most of that argument or that aspect that was highlighted by the Western media and in the negative sense, that is going to be the kind of that has a more long-lasting impact vis-a-vis the one which the government and all other relevant government departments are highlighting regarding those projects. So on that, I would like to say that is a very famous quote by Noam Chomsky, and he says that truth is not the thing that someone is going to pour into your ears. Rather, it is a very rare commodity. You will have to explore, research, and find it yourself. So being a researcher, being the academician, this is what is our job, to find the truth and then highlight that, rather than there are multiple narratives, but eventually all narratives are not true, and you have to look at that every narrative has a kind of an intended objective through which they want to achieve certain objectives in that particular country, in that particular domain, or in that particular region, or where those are being propagated. So it is the job of the academia particularly and the researchers to pinpoint and to bring its multiple angles to the to the masses, to the media, and guide them accordingly. So with this note, I would like to conclude this session, and over to Secretary of the conference, Dr. Muzammil Zia, for further proceedings.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, now I would request the Chief Economist, Dr. Nadeem Javed, to please come forward for presenting the souvenir to the esteemed panelists. Sir.
Okay.
And I will call upon one by one. First of all, Dr. Lee Jong Ji, so please come forward and receive his souvenir from Dr. Nadeem Javed. Next is Dr. Wang Sheda. थोड़ा साइड पे थोड़ा पीछे नेक्स्ट टू डॉक्टर वांग शेदा थोड़ा पीछे आप वो मैडम का लेके आए डॉक्टर ली जिंग पिंग Dr. Shi Xiang Shi. Sir, now I would once again request for presenting the souvenirs to the chair of the technical session of the conference. First, I would request Professor Noreen Mujahid, Director, Applied Economic Research Center, to please come on the stage for reception of your souvenir. Next is Dr. Azhar Ahmad, HOD, Bahria University, Islamabad. Next is Professor Sabina Khalil, former Director, Applied Economics Research Center. Yes, puncha de. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request Conference Secretary Dr. Muzammil Zia and PD DEPCOM Mr. Asim Niazi to please come on the stage for us to receive your memento. Sir, we pay great tribute to you and your team.
So I'm very grateful to Asim because this event, the whole organization, my team was also involved, but all of its media arrangements were looking after by Mr. Asim Niazi, and it was very well done.
बस मुजम्मिल का भी दे देना मुजम्मिल उठा दे उसको दे मुजम्मिल सर एक मुजम्मिल को दे सर बताओ जरा मुजम्मिल
because he was the one who was looking after all the logistics and almost
Thank you. Now I would request the Conference Secretary, Dr. Muzammil, to concluding remarks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of Chair, I stand before you today to announce the official closing of this remarkable international conference. Over the past 2 days, we have witnessed an incredible exchange of ideas, knowledge sharing, and fruitful discussion on a wide range of topics. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the speakers who generously shared their expertise and experience. Your contribution have been invaluable, and your passion for your work has been truly inspiring. As we depart from this conference, let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration, the enthusiasm for learning, and determination to make a positive impact in our respective fields. Once again, thank you all of being part of this exceptional gathering. Safe travels to your respective